as a standard procedure, but it doesn't have it in Garmin Pilot yet. Okay, you can probably begin a descent while we're turning. You comfortable with that?
Yeah.
Should be a pretty standard thing for you by now. We want to keep the ball centered, and our descent rate should be about 500 feet per minute. And when you get over there to the pattern, we want to be at about 1,049 feet, right? We're going to go right, I'm sorry.
Right.
Yeah, that way you'll end up right on your downwind, on your 45 for your downwind. And we are pretty well out of, you keep that turn coming, we just want to stay out of the pattern for Red Lion Airport, which is right down there. There's not anybody flying there right now, but perfect. This looks really nice. Very nice descending turn. So you're 1,400 feet for 1,049 feet. And there's the red barns right in front of you, so that was a perfect turn. You got them?
Yep.
Okay. The runway is behind that tree line, so we're kind of on a 90-degree entry right now, but get a little closer. Flying W traffic, 62862 inbound 45. It's going to be left downwind for 19 flying W. Okay, so your wind, let's check our track, 303. I'm going to set this for you.
Approximately 3 to the south. We're going to be inbound runway 9 cross keys.
Let's go ahead and turn downwind now. You're going to have...
Cross keys traffic, W535 downwind for runway 27.
Wind is going to be, according to South Jersey, your wind is going to be from your left, 30 degrees. I think it was at 5 knots. Let's just listen to that.
Wind 160 at 04.
04. So that's a light wind from 160. So you're going to have about a 40-degree.
We're beamed the end.
Sorry, 30-degree wind from your left side.
Cross keys
Carb heat on?
What's that?
Carb heat on?
Yep, yeah, regular. I'm going to let you get this all the way down, and I go out a little past the live wires. Try to keep that at 300 feet per minute.
I'm going to make it.
It'll help you slow down.
You should be out of my way by the time I'm there.
You got your carb heat on, your brakes are definitely off. We don't want to burn up a set of Frank's tires today. We got the frequency set, you got your lights on, mixture's full ripped, flaps are up at the moment, trim wheel, I can't see, fuel's on both, and you have plenty of fuel in the tanks. And no alternator anomalies. So I would say, watch your descent rate there. There you go. We don't have any flaps yet, that's our...
Alright, we're ready for flaps.
Yep, get some flaps, and you can probably go ahead and turn left base, and don't let that nose come up too much. There you go.
45 for right
So that's too much descent right there. You can just see from the sight picture. Somewhere in between was good, and just add just a touch of power. Let's get to at least 17.5. Watch your airspeed is bleeding off. There you go. Okay, so we're going to be a little bit low. We're not going to make it over the power lines unless we add power right now, because we're on a very wide and very long final here. So let's add power to about 2,000 RPMs. This is just a simple correction that you would make anytime there's anything doesn't look right. You don't have to go crazy. Look at your airspeed. You're at about 70 knots right now. There's nothing wrong with this. We would not add any more flaps right now because you know you need to be at 350 to 400 feet to cross those wires.
We're on the glide path already.
Yeah, that's odd, isn't it? Okay, now let's go ahead and turn final. Don't let your nose pop up though, because you got a little nose high attitude right now. You're now at 68 knots, so let's get your nose down. Nose down a little bit, pitch down. I think you trimmed the plane up just a hair. I'm going to push it back down. And just find the, so the runway center line is about, I don't know, 100 yards to 50 yards to your right. There you go. Beautiful. A little bit more maybe. That's looking a lot better.
40 right base, runway 9 skis.
So you know you're going to be able to cross the power lines at above 400 feet because you're at 500 right now and you're almost on top of them. So I would begin a descent to the numbers. I would just point the plane at the numbers or the stripe, 1 or 2 stripes past it, because you know you're clearing the power lines now. and you got 2,000 RPMs in. So let's take some power out and let's get our flaps in.
40 gun around, Niner, Huskies.
So we have to lift the nose, because look, pull the power back a little. We got to lift the nose or we're never going to get in the white arc. Pull some power out, pull some power out, pull some power out. Now so this is an unstabilized approach. So I'm going to get all your flaps in now that we're in the white arc, and now we're going to put the nose down. Take the power all the way out. There you go. So now we got the runway made. There's your glide path. There's 71 knots. And watch it bleed off. I'm just going to hold the pitch attitude right here, because we're right on the glide path. And we're going to land on your wheel. That's it. Let's do another one so you can do a good one before you go home. Ready? Carb heat's off, full throttle, flaps are up. You got the plane. Let's just hit a little bit of right rudder. We're going to get out of here. There's 70 knots. And you have the plane?
Yep.
Okay, your plane. Flying W traffic, Skyhawk 62862, touch and go, airborne, runway 19, closed traffic, flying W. Okay. So, we were a little bit wide and a little bit long,
Yeah, that was a long
and we were low. So all you got to do is keep the plane flying level for another minute or so until you're back at the right altitude for the position in the pattern, which you did fine. And you ended up with right on the glide path. You do not want to be landing here at dusk or at night if you can't see those wires and those lights are in the wrong position, right?
Correct.
I think that would be like an arresting cable on an aircraft carrier. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure. I avoid those things by 100 feet at all times. And that's a lot. If you're much more than 100, then you're going to be way off the glide path. Okay, you can go ahead and turn downwind. I think you and me are the only people out here at the moment.
4 for Juliet Alpha, left crosswind 24, departing to the east, Lakewood.
Okay, coming up on 950 right there. So you're looking out the window, unlike the guy last night I was telling you about. So let's get parallel to the runway. And you're obviously looking for the runway. So now I think you're heading a little bit into the, you don't want to cut that base leg short. So let's make it a nice square pattern. This looks pretty good to me. I got some dots on my GPS, those 4 orange dots. So somewhere out there where it says pattern C is where I usually turn.
RB, I'm pulling.
Yep, and you're perfect now. I would lift the nose to help yourself slow down a little bit because you're right at the right RPM. There you go, and that airspeed will naturally bleed off.
First flap.
Yep. Just verify you're in the white arc. Yeah, this plane, I mean, this thing responds the same way, except for the wind, but it responds the same way every time. So if you set it to 18 or 17 and a half, and pitch the nose up just a slight amount, it'll slow down into the white arc.
You're at 7 miles.
Turn my...
Gonna make a left base 419, flying W.
Flying W traffic, Skyhawk 62862, turning left base 19. Okay, you're all set, man. As soon as you complete the turn, you can add another notch flap. This looks a lot more stable than the last one.
Yeah.
I love your descent rate is dead on at 300, so I find that gets you there. See the runway? Let's put the lights on, ready? 7 clicks, go ahead. There you go, lights just came on. Let's stay perpendicular to the runway, get some more flaps in. The nose pops up, just keep it down. There you go, and you can probably start your turn to final if you're comfortable with that. Don't wait too long because the wind is pushing you from left to right. There you go. And your descent rate just increased, but
Lakewood traffic.
This is fine.
4 miles.
You can see the wires.
Yeah, overshot a little.
That's okay, the wind is pushing you, so let's not go crazy correcting now. Let's get some flaps in. We're still in the white arc, and now you can just, you don't really have a choice. You have to point the plane. As long as you're clear of these wires, you have to point the plane to the runway or we'll never land. So that's good, that's good. Don't let it get to 800. Just a nice pitch to the runway. And there's your glide path. Nose down just a hair. You'll get used to that sight picture. That's it right there. And I would just add a touch of power because our sink rate is a little high.
Yeah.
A little more power, we're still sinking. There you go. And just capture it again and then adjust the power back to 16 or 17. We got full flaps, gears down and lock, make sure prop switches seatbelts. And a lot of right rudder is going to be required here. We're a little bit low, so we don't want to bounce. Now start working the power back and put in some right rudder. There you go. Now you got the rudder. Now lift the nuts too much. Right, let's get it straightened back out. There it is, right there. Watch this. Okay.
Full stop.
Full stop. We'll get the next one. We're not getting off there. We're still going 40 knots.
Back on the center line.
Yep. Yeah, whenever you have a, look at the deer all out here again. Whenever you have a bad landing, it usually started back there. Perfect. Got your flaps, you got your carb heat. We can check the trim wheel in a second. Yeah, whenever you have a bad landing, it usually started back on the downwind somewhere where we weren't configured, we weren't slowing down. And as you gain more skill and experience, you know, you'll be making those corrections and you can buy a tighter pattern if you want to.
Scooter?
That's probably Frank. Hopefully he's not coming down to yell at us at